going to talk about fighting around a vehicle. We're going to talk about fighting from a vehicle, and we're going to maybe figure out that it might not be the best thing for us to really do, fighting from a vehicle. And hopefully we're going to demonstrate alternatives for how can I manage myself. As we're in our car, right, the last thing we want to have is somebody pulling a pistol on us and we're unprepared for it, right? We're sitting here just driving and then so that comes down to situational awareness for us. As we're driving, guys, you should be checking left mirror, center mirror, right mirror, right? Every couple of seconds, just mirror, 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 and then back to front again. Just roll through those mirrors, and then every time you come up to an intersection, start taking in who's on my left, who's on my right, and who's behind me, right? As soon as you stop, you take all that information in, left, right, who's behind me. When you go to make a left hand or a right hand, right, as you go to make those turns, you're looking for problems. You're looking near and you're looking far. And what I'm trying to do is, are there any pedestrians on the corner, on the street, in the esplanade, in the emerging center of the piece that could present a problem to me, like a homeless person or something, panhandling, trying to get stuff from me. Right, I want to know where all these people are, and I want to look near to far, right? The near people are going to be my problem. The far people are going to be my problem in a minute. So the situational awareness piece is something that we have to, if we're switched on there, we can avoid having to even worry about fighting from our vehicle or fighting from the vehicle at all, because you see it and you avoid it. Right, so that's our first piece we want to talk about. But the second section is, let's say we failed at all of that, or life just didn't work out for us the way we wanted it to, and we're in our car, we've got our seatbelt on, and as I'm driving up, if I start to see that I've got a problem coming my direction, I want to go ahead and get out of this seatbelt early. Right? If I start to see something coming, I want to go ahead and just go ahead and ease that seatbelt off of me. And I want you guys from here forward, when you get out of your seatbelt in your car and you're every time you get out of your seatbelt, I want you to start burning this into your brain as a habit of a way to get out of the seatbelt. You take your hand on the door side and you swim under the seatbelt here. And then this thumb is going to come down, and that's what's going to activate the seatbelt for that. And the reason we do that is so that when I get out, the seatbelt is off my arm already and it's not hooking me under the pit, right? But I want you to get into the idea of you swim under it, and then this thumb comes down, pops it, and then you can control it so it doesn't beat your car up, but get out of the car like that, all right? That's just something to train so that in an emergency, that's going to be your go-to way to get out of the car, because you've kind of burned a neural pathway to learn that, all right? So we've got somebody that's creating a potential problem for us. We're just kind of getting ready for it. So we pop that seatbelt off and just ease the seatbelt off, and we're still in our car, door's still shut. And so now we got to talk about the draw and how are we going to present that gun. We've all got stuff on our hips right now. Police officers have a gun that's on their hip, and they have to manage and worry about that. What you can do if you've got your gun on your hip is you elevate your hip slightly, right? You elevate your hip slightly so you can get the gun, and the gun comes out. Once the gun comes out and I'm starting to press, assuming that the problem is in front of me, right? I'm going to drive my hands and my gun to the wheel, and I'm pushing to the wheel so that it's past the wheel, so I don't have that barrel sight relationship problem of looking through my dot and I've got it back here. I can see the target, but where's my muzzle going to be? I'm going to be putting rounds in my steering wheel. So I'm going to drive the gun past and catch the wheel, and now I've got my dot in the right spot, or I've got my irons in the right spot, and I've got a brace position that I can start shooting from. All right, so that's our process there. So we get the seatbelt off, and here he comes. Here's the problem. Elevate the hips slightly. Elevating the hips kind of gets the gun up out of this ditch that it's sitting down in, and you got console and all that. Especially cops, they've got computers and all kind of stuff going on here. Elevate the hips slightly, gun comes out, drive the pistol, and now you've got your sights ready to go. Foot above my point of aim. Yeah. So if I'm wanting to sink around on somebody in the chest, you're gonna put the sight on the belt, right? So let's try it. Find a fresh piece of glass. And the more I go to the left, where do you think it pulls the bullet? It's pulling the bullet that way.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right? So let's go to the other side. You see how high it keeps deflecting that round? It keeps kicking that round high because as the bullet's nose, especially on a pistol round, because it's got a nice fat nose to it, when that nose intersects the glass actually creates drag on the top of the round, and that drag pulls the trajectory of the bullet up that way. You would think, I mean, it's intuitive that this is the nose of the bullet and it slopes down, that it would come down, but it's completely the opposite of that. And the same thing goes if we were shooting into the car, the exact same thing takes place, just at the inverse of that. So if you wanted to sink rounds into the chest area of somebody and you're out about that distance, you're going to put the sight somewhere on the face, and it drives it down into the body. But here's the thing. The guys will teach, well, just porthole. It's called portholing the glass, right? You put the first round through the glass. It's going to go high, but you put it through, and you just keep pumping rounds through it, and it's going to create a hole, and no deflection is going to take place. You're just going to be shooting through a hole at that point. And that sounds good in theory, and it will work, but it assumes something. It assumes that the target is still going to be there. It assumes that the guy you're shooting at is not going to be moving. And I guarantee you, if it was you getting shot at, you wouldn't stay in the same place. You would just hang out. So you're going to be, your target is going to be moving one way or the other, which means you're going to be punching rounds through your windshield, and it's going to be a different deflection every time you turn. And because the glass is not only sloped this way, but it's also curved slightly this way. And here's kind of the rule. The bullet's going to do what the bullet wants to do, no matter how much we try to anticipate it when you're shooting through this glass. Because the glass has got a piece of glass, a piece of glue, and a piece of glass, and it's curved, and it is going to go everywhere. You can't control it. You just can't control it. So what I want you to do, though, is I want you to pop in the car. So like I said, the obvious answer is if somebody shows up at my window is to get the pistol up nice and tight. Remember we said you keep the wrist tight, but you can have the arms flex. So I can still work from inside the car here. But what I want to suggest to you is come around to this side so you can see. So if I'm in here, I don't want necessarily everybody to see that I've got a pistol up. I can bring the gun and put the gun right here, and I can start shooting through the door to solve my problem as opposed to bringing the gun up and coming through the glass, because that presents glass problems to my face, for one.
Yep.
This, shooting through the door,
It'll make it through?
Let's find out. Right, so I got my gun up here to the side. It's a way to push through the door, and you can get up nice and tight on the car. Through the door.
So you're actually pushing the barrel of the gun onto that.
No, I don't make contact with the muzzle. I was using my flashlight as kind of a standoff. But just bring the gun up, put two hands on it, get it up close to the door. You want the slide to be able to cycle without making contact. If you make contact with the door, it's going to knock the gun out of battery, and your gun's going to stop working. Right? So you bring the pistol up, bring it to the side of the door, and then you can go to work from right there. Now, it isn't going to give you any accuracy if the guy is standing like back over here, right? Because you got all of this mess going through. You see, out of the 3 rounds, 1 didn't even make it, 2 made it. And you've got all sorts of rods and connectors coming through here that are controlling door locks and the internal structure of the aluminum on the door itself. So, you have to just start pushing rounds through it. They're going to go through. You're going to have to push rounds through it, though. And so I want you guys to jump in the car and get a good shot. So now we're going to look at the idea of fighting from the car itself. And I'm going to give you some ideas about why it might not be the thing that you really, truly want to try to do. Right? If you have other choices. And we're going to give you some other choices. All right? So let's get steel set up too. So here's how we're going to work this. I'm going to take this piece of paper and shove it back out to the front where we had it. And you guys are going to be in here. Your signal is going to be to get the pistol up and start firing on that cardboard is when I start shooting that piece of steel. All right? I'm going to put as many rounds on that steel as I can get off, and by the time you shoot, that's when I'm going to stop shooting. And we're going to count the rounds that are on the steel versus how many rounds you were able to get off, how much time it took by counting the rounds up here. So me shooting that steel is like me standing outside and shooting into the car at you. All right. You want to go first? I'm going to start firing with the plate. When you hear me fire with the plate, I want you to get your pistol out and fire one round right up here. Just one.
Just one?
Just one.
Okay.
And that's going to be my signal to stop.
Seatbelt on.
Seatbelt on. Yes, sir.
Yeah, am I going through the motion, taking it off?
All I'm concerned about is you getting the gun up and getting the shot off.
Right.
Do you need a press check or are you good? Yes, eyes and ears. Like that. Shooter, are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Right. So if a guy comes up on you and starts cranking on you in the car,
You're screwed.
you're going to die. I mean, I'm not trying to demoralize you, but I'm just telling you. I mean, the reality of it is, this is a coffin, right? This is going to be a death box if you stay in it. If you stay in it and try to fight from it, from the car seat, you're going to die. That's gonna... So what we want to figure out how to do is get out of this thing, right? How do we get out of this thing and do some business outside the car? So this is where we talk about how to bail out of the car, all right? So when I'm looking at bailing out of a vehicle and I've got something coming at me from the front, when I'm looking to bail out of the car, as Rich was talking about, so you got A, B, and C. Those are our pillars, right? If you have to put rounds on somebody here just to get a chance to do something, okay, I get that. I respond to it, shot. My door is pushed open, and I'm gonna get out and just start rolling to the back of the car as fast as I can, because that's gonna put a piece of metal between me and that guy.
Yeah, this is kind of at a down angle.
Yep.
But if I throw that, if I'm getting shot at and I throw that door open, I may actually get bumped by the door.
Yeah.
So once you clear, drive that foot, because that's the foot that's going to hit the ground first to come out.
Got it.
So
I'm not going to face this way and put my gun on him, because that is not going to be conducive to good running. All right, I'm just going to get up and stay as low as I can, start moving to the back of the car, come around behind the car, and now I'm using the vehicle as my cover. And I'm trying to maintain, and this is the problem. So J1, go stand over there where the white is, the cardboard. As I roll back to this point, right there, as I roll back to this point, this is not giving me cover. As I roll back to this point, I want to put the whole engine block between me and that guy. All right, so, and every time he moves, I need to adjust to that. So start moving one side, so as he moves, I start moving, and I maintain the car between me and him, right? He moves, I move. And so the use of cover is relative to my threat down range, right? So that's how I want to use the car. So I'm gonna.
So one of the things we found is a lot of guys, when we're doing stuff, they'll come up here and they're engaging the guy this way. If you don't have rear occupants back here, right? If you've got rear occupants, we'll cover that in a minute. But if I'm just peeling out, I'm down here and I'm going, the same thing that applies here, applied up there. I put rounds right through that window, right through, does that make sense?
Shooting through the glass.
Yeah. Time after time in training, guys will avoid the glass and shoot over, and I don't know why.
I don't want to lay over the top of the car, right? Think about how an engine is designed. If you strip all the crap off of it, an engine is kind of like a little pyramid.
Okay.
Right? And so if this is my pyramid and I'm taking rounds from this direction from a guy that way, and I'm laying over the top of the car,
like this, as he comes in, his rounds are going to hit the engine and they're going to start scooping up. I'm going to start eating not only his rounds, but I'm going to start eating pieces of the engine, pieces of the hood. All that's going to come into my face, my arms, right? This car becomes a bullet magnet for that guy because it's a big thing and he's going to start shooting at it. But it sometimes becomes a cover magnet for us. We don't want that. I can be back here using this car way more effectively for a cover. And the further back I get, the less moving I have to do to adjust to his movement. The further back I am, I can take one step this way. He's now got to take about 25 steps to meet what I just did with a one wide step because I'm further back. And I'm also not laying over the top accepting what's coming from the car. All right? So when you're, now we go back to what you were back here. You rolled back here to the back and got locked into the car and started shooting from here. Number one, laying over the top of it. But two, there's nothing here. Right? So let's see something. Go ahead and open that. Open it. All right, let's watch. Eyes and ears. We got bullets coming through this thing.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're on this side, it'll do the reverse going that way.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to use this car to the max advantage, man. If I'm right here and I got a dude right here, by God, I want to be somewhere over here.
Yep.
Right? As much metal as I can put between me and that guy. All right? So that's an element there that we need to think about. So it's something called body blocking. Has anybody ever done body blocking before? I know Rich and I've talked about it. Eyes and ears. Good. All right, so the glass is not our problem anymore. So now, if you're sitting in the glass side, sorry man, don't want the broken glass in the seat. How many of you guys remember the movie 13 Hours? Right, in the beginning of the movie, you remember when the two, so I don't usually reference movies for training because there's not a lot you can gain from them. But do you remember when they pulled up in the very beginning after having been picked up at the airport and they get stopped and they're jammed up in this traffic situation?
Here we go. Welcome to Benghazi. Salam. Libyan visa. Official. Libyan government.
Fahmni? Fahmni?
Pull over for inspection.
No.
Pull over for inspection.
Sorry, sir, I can't do that.
انزل السيارة.
Look up. Go ahead, look up. You see the drone? No? That's all right, because the drone sees you. Sees your face. We know who you are. Anything happens to us, your home, your family, gone. Give the order to let us through.
I want the car.
I'm not gonna do that.
You don't do that, but you can shoot across somebody if you have to. And here's how we would do that. So come over to this side so you can see. We're not going to go hide. I'm just going to show you the process.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah. So body blocking, if I just pull my pistol out and I see something over here that he hasn't seen, maybe he's engaged in something over further to the left that I can't see, but I pick up something here and I have to get to it. I don't want to just come right here and just start cranking because gas and everything is going in his face. There's a chance that he reacts by turning into the gun and just a whole bunch of problems like that. So for a body blocking would be, I take my gun and as he's doing his thing, I'm coming up and I'm blocking him from moving, right? I'm stopping his body from moving. Yeah, I might be affecting his aim right now, but there's something else that's more important, right? So I'm blocking him and now I'm shooting past him so I'm not putting so much gas in his face and he's not catching a lot of muzzle blast. That's body blocking. It's just using your body, blocking the guy so that you can engage in his direction, whatever's not being picked up by him.